these videos that I make don't matter. I don't think that is 100% true. In fact, I don't think it's true at all. I think in some ways it is true, but I think honestly that's how I feel. A while back when I think it was when I made my last kind of long video essay, I reflected on how I consume YouTube videos, and I realized that most of the time, in fact all the time, it is just as background noise. It is as podcasts. I basically stream like podcasts. I pop a video in, and I listen to it as I am doing other things. And that, as I reflected on that, I think I felt a little bit frustrated because when you put so much time and effort into something, and you put it out there, it is meant to be wholly consumed. It is meant to be consumed with someone's complete attention. You want someone to be completely locked in on this thing that you made. And maybe that is the case for some people, but few and far between. Most people, again, even my videos are background noise. And it led to me feeling pretty disillusioned. I think that's a word I used the other day. I haven't looked up what that word means, so maybe that's not the right word to use. But I was actually talking about this with my dad. How because of the way people consume videos on this platform, and just in general, and just with how, I don't know if crowded the internet, because the internet's always been crowded, so it's not how crowded it feels, but just, I mean, I'm not a big fan of being on the internet. But I am always on the internet, and so I guess I just felt kind of weird about pouring all of my time and effort into creating things that most people aren't gonna fully consume, like how I intend them to be, and also that I think the internet feels fake. A lot of this feels fake. It doesn't feel real. And that stinks. I recently started going to like a writer's workshop once a month at my local library, and we're putting together a book that the library is going to not really publish, but they're going to just have to give away at their own library, full of a bunch of local authors' writings. I have a poem that's going to be in that book, and to me, there was something creatively fulfilling about that. There's something more, I guess, real about that. Because of the in-person interaction with the other writers, but also, there's just something real about people going to a library and picking up your writing. That there's something so much more real about that than people just kind of watching your YouTube videos. In the same sense, when I put out my book over the summer, it feels more real because you have to sit down and fully consume the book, right? I guess people can half read it and they can skim through it, and that's fine. But it has your undivided attention, or it is more likely to, I guess. And so, again, like I think initially that was pretty frustrating that a lot of my videos were just background noise, that YouTube videos are just, I mean, if you don't think people are using your YouTube videos to Netflix and chill, like if you don't think that's happening, if you don't think people are banging with YouTube videos on in the background as background noise, like you're not living in reality. That is happening, right? It is background noise. So much of this content is just background noise. For a lot of people, myself included. That doesn't mean it's inherently less valuable, but I guess it doesn't mean it's useless, but it's just maybe not worth me spending my time going all in on it. So that's part one, I guess. This video is not really for anybody. I know there are a select few people who have followed what I've done over the last couple of years, and that is really cool. And so this video, I guess, is for you as well. There are people who have, I know my videos have been meaningful to people I don't know, and that is appreciated. And it's also a weird feeling. I never quite know how to feel about it, because I'm supposed to be feeling, I should feel good and I should be grateful, and I am in a lot of ways, and I am, but also I am grateful, and I am just kind of confused, or maybe just left. I'll say I'm grateful, but maybe I don't inherently feel it because so much of the internet feels fake. Comments feel fake. Whether they are mean or nice, it's like it's not necessarily real. Or maybe it doesn't feel real compared to the real world. With how bad the internet has gotten, it's made me want to exist in the real world more. And I'm sure a lot of people have that similar sentiment. My inspirations have changed over over time too. My inspirations have developed. When I was making a lot of those video essays, I was watching a lot of video essays. People would always compare some of my early works to they would say, "Oh, you're just like Drew Gooden." And to me, like, that was not an accurate comparison at all, because I think there's a lot of differences between us. And sure, I consumed his videos, but I wasn't trying to be like him, or I had no interest in being like him. We're just two corny white guys who made long form videos who used clear setups and punchlines in their videos. Like, to me, that was the main connection. These days, I heard something from Caleb Heron, a comedian you might be familiar with. He talked about how he has a podcast that is more or less used as a means to an end. I'm kind of paraphrasing him. I don't know if this is exactly how he put it, but he's not on this planet to create podcasts, right? He wants to be a writer. He wants to be in films, but he used the podcast as a way to get recognition, to get attention in this attention economy, and it was like an engine for him, right? He keeps the podcast going once a week. It keeps people engaged with him. It grows his audience. It makes him more and more. It makes more and more people know who he is, so that way he can focus on his real art. And I think I got to a point of wanting to do that as well. I've been on a second, I guess. Well, let's go back a little farther to when I made a video about AI, and in that video, I made the second channel and was just basically yapping. I mean, just unscripted, kind of take half of an idea and just talk about it for 5 or 6 minutes and upload it. And none of those videos did insanely well. Some of them got a little bit of traction, but it was just, I realized there was something that I could do. I have a background in improv. I enjoy getting to use it. I don't get to use it all that often. And so that created an outlet for me to do it. So it was fun. I enjoyed it. And I was putting out something every day, which was ultimately garnering attention. When I spend 1 or 2 months at a time working on a video, that, in my opinion, and I'm not saying this is accurate to you, but I spend 2 months making a video that most people are going to half watch and then kind of forget about. And I'm spending all my times on these videos, and I'm not able to spend time doing other art, doing other things that I really enjoy creating. You know, I love writing. I put out a book over the summer. I talked about that a couple minutes ago. And part of me, as I've been reflecting on that book, I think it's fine. I think there's plenty of interesting ideas in there, and I think it's worth a read. But could I have made it greater had I actually been dedicating more of my time to it? So much of my time had been split into just being all in on creating these videos, spending 90% of my free time on that, and then using whatever time I had in between to do my other art, to do my other kind of writing. And I got to a point when it was the other writing, when it was the creating the book. I've been writing on Substack too. I've been putting out some poems and some essays over on there. And it got to the point where that was the art I enjoyed creating and was passionate about creating. And yet I felt like I still had to make these YouTube videos, because ultimately that's how I'm going to get attention. You're not going to get attention by just, uploading books to Amazon or putting poems out on Substack. And I think for a while maybe I kind of rejected that, or I wasn't really interested in it. A lot of kind of long form videos I did, I was all in on those. They were everything to me. They were literally my babies, right? So much attention to detail went into them, that I don't know, I guess, at that time in my life, those videos were, that was the art I was passionate about. Was making those videos. I was all in on those videos, and I really enjoyed it. And now I don't, and that's okay. And I think it's important to, follow. At a certain point, I've been trying now for months and months and months to kind of force myself to get back to the person I was in college, but that's just not where I'm at in life right now, and that's okay. I feel like I'm at a point right now where I'm just trying to get better. I want to become a way better writer. I think I have potential in that area. I look at the first book I put out, and I see so many ways in which I can make something bigger and better and more interesting. Right? I'm 22 years old. I think part of me wanted to keep making those video essays because they found success online numerically, and they were generating me a little bit of money, and they were generating me a little bit of attention. And so I wanted to keep making those because I knew, hey, if I keep making these, like, this works and I can get some sort of notoriety off of it. But at 22 years old, I guess the chase for notoriety is I mean, not that I think I'm ever going to get to a point when I'm going to be all in on, like, getting famous. But I feel like I'm at a point in my life where I just want to keep getting better. I just want to keep improving. And so I want to dedicate my time to becoming a better writer by writing. And not writing video essays, but by writing poetry and actual essays. Because that's the artistic venture I want to go on. So that's kind of where I'm at in life right now. Interaction with comments can be fun. I have like a notebook and I have a couple of like things on here. And this is, I'm sure this feels all over the place because it is. That's how my brain works. What I said earlier about how comments feel fake, it is true. Like, I know that there are people of you, it's all right, Bob, and there are others of you out there whose comments I see constantly, and actually that support does feel real, and I really appreciate it. But there's something fun about getting to interact with the comments that I do enjoy, and that I don't get to do very often because I post not very often. Whether it's a good comment or a bad comment, I think it's so interesting. I posted a video yesterday that you might have seen about pegging. Go check out that video. But it was just funny to see like people's reactions to it and people's responses to my idea. Of course, the video was about more than just pegging, if you're really listening to it. And by the way, people who are always talking to ChatGPT, at first I thought, that's so weird. But really, it's just Siri. Is ChatGPT, the people who are talking to ChatGPT, is it not just Siri? Is it just a better Siri? People who use it like that, I guess whatever. It's still not great for the environment, but, I mean, is anything? But I guess that video was kind of inspired by the people who, like, are starting to have personal relationships with their ChatGPT chatbots or just these other chatbots. It's weird. Don't do that. Don't have a personal relationship with a chatbot. Are you out of your mind? That chatbot can't peg you. It's not because it's not a human being. Anyway, I talked about this yesterday, but it was fun to see the comments underneath that video. It's also, man, I love a comment. I love hate comments. I love specifically stupid comments. So let me point to an example over on my second channel. I put out a video a couple of days ago titled "Everyone Hates Me." It was kind of just a gag off of the video I put up before, which was called "I Have a Tailboner." That video was kind of, I had the thought tailboner, right? That is a concept. And so I made a video talking about that concept because I wanted to hear people's feedback on it, right? Could the idea tailboner, that phrase, could that be used for something? Could that be turned into a bit? Could that be turned into a sketch? That was a concept I was thinking of. The video yesterday was just a concept that I wanted feedback on. And nobody watched the video. It had like 10 views, and that's fine. Like, that didn't bother me at all, but I thought it'd be funny. Okay, what if tomorrow I make a video titled "Everyone Hates Me" and just kind of complain about how the video has no views? And I should go back and watch it and see everything that I say, but the video was very, ironic and sarcastic. And when people don't pick up on that, when people don't understand what I'm doing, I love that. When people watch one of my videos and they don't understand what I'm trying to do, that's the best. So here's an example. The video is titled "Everyone Hates Me," and there was a comment that says, "I'm not surprised. You sound pretentious and entitled to the point you take it as a personal attack when your video doesn't get enough engagement. In the way you started off the video, acting as if you had a leg up because you didn't want to, quote, provide information, unquote, felt unnecessary and annoying." I'm not quite sure what he meant in that specific part.
My car because I am at my parents' house because tomorrow is Thanksgiving, and I talk loud in these videos, and so I have to be outside, but it is 20 degrees and really windy outside, so I'm doing this in my car at 10 p.m. That is all the information I am willing to give to you because you don't know me, I don't know you, and I am allowed to give up as much information as I please.
Oh, interesting. That's a really good point. So I hope you were able to hear that, but I kind of explain the context of where I'm at in the video, and then I say that's all I'm going to explain because that's all you deserve to know, because I don't know you. I don't know who you are. And so I can give you as much information as I choose. And he says, okay, so referring to that, he says he didn't want to provide information, felt unnecessary and annoying. Also, you sound and look wired out of your mind. Which is interesting. I mean, he's not really wrong. I'm filming this video on my laptop camera in the car in the middle of the darkness. So, like, I get it. But to me, a comment like that is, I love those comments because it's somebody who took the time to form a true response, right? Like a comment that just says, like, there's another comment on the video that says, are you on Adderall? And that, to me, there's nothing interesting about that comment. But when someone is willing to, really give a take on the video, and that take is kind of based on maybe an assumption, or it's just not based in reality, when they just don't understand what I'm doing, that is the best. That comment makes me smile. Because because they just don't understand, and that's fine. I'm not saying it's not a matter of being better than anybody. It's just they don't get it, and that's awesome. And they don't get it, and they felt the need to comment something, and they think they're right, and they can be, sure. What if they are? I don't care. So I do enjoy that set of comment interaction, and I think, like, you guys have funny responses to my videos, and I appreciate that. This video is all over the place. One thing I was thinking about that Adderall comment, though, he asked me, am I on Adderall? No, I just know how to talk. Learn how to I know how to communicate with people. And you just got to keep saying words. You can't have any dead air. You just got to learn, I just know how to talk. It's that simple, right? You always have to have something to say. You don't always have to have something to say, but I just, I don't know. I get it. I mean, I guess people on Adderall yap fast. Okay, I guess that's really all. That's probably all I have to say here. I talked about how I felt disillusioned. People use my videos. I'm not saying people have banged while my video's on in the background. I wanted to clarify that point from earlier. But, like, Drew Gooden's channel has, what, like 1 billion views? You're telling me nobody has had one of his videos on in the background? Like, you're out of your mind. Yeah. So, all that to say, I'm going to keep making videos every day on this channel. They had been on that second channel, which was stupid because in my brain, I was like, okay, I'll have the one channel for my, like, real art, and then I'll have this channel where I can just post a bunch of junk. And that makes no sense because I spent years making this channel monetized, and now I'm trying to build a new channel from scratch. I could use the income. So I should just be putting these videos on here, and nobody really cares. It doesn't matter that much. What we do on the internet, it doesn't matter that much in terms of, like, channel branding for a guy like me who has, like, 5,000 subscribers. It doesn't matter. I think I got in my own head, and I was like, it matters. Like, I need to have this space for my real stuff and this space for my, yapping stuff. And that's not true at all. So all that to say, I appreciate those who have engaged with my videos. There's no resentment. I hope it's clear. Like, there's no resentment or anger. It's just kind of where I'm at. I want to keep making these kind of videos daily, like the video I made yesterday. I'm excited to keep making those daily, to interact with you all daily. I think will be more fun for me as well. And go follow me over on Substack. I will now have more time. I have a couple of YouTube scripts that are like 7 or 8. I have one script that's like 7 or 8 pages long, and some other videos, some other kind of scripts that I had to abandon because I just, I would lose interest. And sometimes when you lose interest, you just need to take a break, and then you need to kind of really force yourself back into it, and you get excited. And it got to the point when I kept just trying to force myself to get into it, that it just wasn't working. So I'm excited to make these videos daily. Go follow me over on Substack. I have a poem that is out now that you can go check out. You can also support me financially over there if you so choose. I don't do paywall content. Everything I do is for free, but if you want to support me, you can. You can also check out the book. Thank you, guys.